Hey everyone, Matthew here. Let's dive deep, because today we've uncovered something massive for the XRP community that you almost certainly haven't heard in full elsewhere. If you're holding XRP, watching every move, this video could change everything for your wallet. Stick around to the end, because the reveal at the finish might be the difference between "I wish I got in earlier" and "wow, I'm glad I held." What you're about to see? A powerful supply shock setup, institutional flows already in motion, and one strategic pivot that could easily 10x your holdings, or at least redefine what upside looks like for XRP. I'll walk you through the data, show you the hidden signals, demystify the risks, and give you a clear scenario for what happens if this all lines up. Ready? Let's go. First, the hook. A major crypto analyst just declared the XRP supply shock is no longer speculation. It's baked in. That means everything you thought you understood about how XRP moves needs a rethink. When fewer tokens are tradable and demand starts building, you get a classic squeeze with one outcome: price explosion. And the data says we're right there. You'll see which metrics are flashing red hot, which tweets sent the community into a frenzy, and why now might be the time. But hold on. I'm going to break it down so clearly you'll be able to explain it to your friends and your crypto skeptic cousin. Now, the thesis in one line. If XRP's circulating supply tightens and institutional trust flows accelerate, then with demand stable or rising, the price could easily spike multiple times from here. I'm talking possible 5 to 10 times upside, with a scenario where the token becomes significantly harder to buy than most expect. Here's the deep dive. First major piece: supply side squeeze. Analysts are saying that XRP's supply shock is effectively baked in. Spot ETFs, institutional treasury vehicles grabbing XRP, and large token locks are pulling supply out of play. Tradable supply is shrinking while demand could stay the same or rise. Some estimate that if 80% of the circulating supply were locked, there would be a shock that shifts price dynamics dramatically. Next, exchange reserves and outflows. The amount of XRP held on major exchanges is falling. Whales are moving tokens off exchange, liquidity is drying up, and less supply is available for trading. Historically, these moves often come right before massive price surges. Now, institutional and ETF optics. When big players move in, you see a shift from hype to real capital flows. With ETF approvals potentially looming, XRP could reach much higher valuations, estimates like $5 to $12 by late 2025, if these dynamics play out. More importantly, direct institutional buying on public markets, not just over the counter, is beginning to happen, driving demand and visibility. At this point, you might ask, okay, Matthew, so why hasn't this exploded already? Great question. Here's the suspense. Multiple moving parts need to align. Regulatory clarity, ETF launches, institutional flows, and supply lock mechanics, all of these must hit together for maximum effect. If one lags, the move may be delayed or muted. That brings us to scenario analysis. Scenario A. Let's say a meaningful chunk of supply gets locked, maybe 10 to 15%, demand picks up moderately, and ETF catalysts come online. In this scenario, XRP might move to the $5 to $10 range in the next 6 to 12 months. Already a several times return. Scenario B. Suppose locks ramp to over 50%, institutional demand surges, ETFs launch with massive inflows, and supply is visibly thinning. In that case, the price could move 10 times or more, with targets beyond $20 or even $30, depending on how much supply is out of circulation and how big the demand wave gets. Now here's a twist. If you thought holding XRP is safe, here's the kicker: liquidity risk is emerging. Experts warn that when the rally hits, selling out may not be smooth. If supply shrinks and everyone wants out at once, it could become hard to exit without large slippage. So yes, the upside is huge, but the risk of being stuck or buying at the wrong time is real. That doubles the importance of timing, strategy, and mindset. Let's walk through 4 key indicators to watch so you're prepared. 1. Exchange reserve data. Look for big drops in XRP held on major exchanges like Binance. Sudden sharp outflows suggest accumulation and lockup. 2. ETF filings and approvals. The moment you see a concrete approval or major institutional vehicle announcing an XRP allocation, expect acceleration. 3. Token lock and bridge mechanics. Bridges like FXRP and MXRP are locking XRP into DEFI on other chains, taking it out of main circulation. If these scale, supply pressure mounts. 4. On-chain transaction volume versus liquidity spreads. If price moves up fast, while order books thin or liquidity tightens, that's a real-time supply shock. Another mini cliffhanger, what if demand doesn't rise? Then holding still makes sense, but the breakout may delay. Conversely, if demand skyrockets and supply is already tight, the move could be explosive. Now let's debunk 3 major myths that might hold you back from recognizing this move. Myth 1. XRP is too early, too risky. Reality? Risk is always there, but the asymmetric upside is shifting. Historically, when supply tightens and demand kicks in, prices move non-linearly. With XRP, you might be closer to that pivot than you think. Myth 2. It's too big to move. Reality? Market cap size doesn't limit explosive moves. What matters is how much supply can actually trade. If half the tokens are locked, liquidity dries up, and price reacts faster than people expect. Myth 3. This rally will look like the last alt season. Reality? This isn't the same story. This isn't just hype, it's technical. Supply contraction plus institutional demand plus regulatory clarity equals structural change, not another pump and dump. If you're doubting this surge like most are, ask yourself, how many times have you seen an established token sitting on the edge of institutional flow, a supply squeeze, and growing regulatory clarity all at once? That's why this moment stands out. Let's zoom out for a second. Why does all of this matter? Because if XRP does execute this pathway, the narrative changes fast. Holding XRP becomes strategic. The golden formula in investing is simple: scarcity plus demand times momentum equals price explosion. You're looking at the ingredients right now. It's not guaranteed, it's a setup. But setups like this are what smart investors position for early. Think of it like this. Imagine you're in a stadium where the seats are supply. The crowd outside is demanding. The gates are narrowing, and when they open, everyone rushes in. But only a few can grab seats. That's when prices surge. XRP's doors are narrowing, and the crowd is gathering. When the floodgates open, it could move faster than anyone expects. So let's bring this home. If you're in this community, you're not just watching a coin, you're part of a movement. XRP holders, you're aligned. You're spotting signals and understanding the game before the masses. That's your edge. If the thesis hits, you'll look back and say, I recognized it. If you do nothing and others act, you'll say, I wish I recognized it. So here's what I want you to do. If this blew your mind, smash the like button. Drop a comment below with your XRP price target. Let's see what the community thinks. Hit subscribe if you're ready for more insider-level crypto analysis. And share this video with your fellow XRP holders. Because when this surge hits, we'll be celebrating together. You're not just an investor. You're part of a group tuned into signals others miss. Stay focused, stay patient, and get ready. Because if the supply shock hits the way the data suggests, this could be one of the most important windows we see in crypto. Thanks for watching. Matthew out.